So if you want to actually play and you want to win, you need to, and if you understand this, if you actually, some people make flavorless food. They're scared of seasoning. They don't know how to bring out the flavor. They don't toast the spices. They don't know how to bring out the flavor. And that's what I'm talking to you about. Now, the center is like the heart, and it's got the 4 chambers, and it's pumping where the pieces need to go. And if you want them to have a heart attack, sometimes you just need to break their lines of the communication between the pieces. And so also understanding that a lot of games at this level are lost because of tactics. I won a game playing the French, and I also lost a game playing the French. Both of them were the exchange French. One I missed when the knight played forward. I missed that it could swing out and hit my active bishop. I didn't actually, and what the player did right was, it was a half open board, and they built a barrage, like I spoke about in the open center, at my king, and with the queen in front, not the bishop in front. So she was actually able to park her car in the garage, and well, actually I chose not to get checkmated and give up the piece, but it became untenable towards the end game. After, when you're up in material, you exchange to the end. Now, exchange and win. So, and what we can actually see here is, I think, the best way to understand a closed center versus a open center. All right, and it's like the heart pumping. And remember, closed centers can become open centers, and suddenly it can switch to being an open center, or a mobile pawn center for yourself, where they've lost the center pawn. Suddenly you have a mobile pawn center, and then you just play aggressively from there. So, at this level of the game, you'd be surprised how many strong club chess players, you're halfway through the game and they're just breaching principles. Okay, they're attacking, without an advantage. They haven't finished the opening phase, and they just launch their attack, and they break basic opening principles, because what the opening is not finished for your side of the board until your king is safe, castled, or the castle, or I just had a brain fart. Okay, the king is castled and the heavies are connected. The heavies are functioning. And in the French, many times the king is going to, because they know that the pawns are coming down on the king's side, the king will castle perhaps queen's side, and then suddenly the king's side is opened up and attacked. It's a game of parry and thrust, and just think of that beating heart pumping. And right now the valves are closed, but immediately you start challenging it and getting space on the queen side. So of course, that is a fantastic position. What I actually like about fighting against the advanced position is they've actually moved the pawn twice in the opening. And so that is like a loss of time. And secondly, black now has 3 pawns out versus white's, now white does have the space advantage in the center, but it's a giant target. And so say white does defend, then now a pressure can start being built up naturally against this pawn structure. Because that's what you want to do when there's a closed center. You want to turn it into your object of attack with your pawns. You can see the rapid development and play on the queen side. Now, against this move, there's all sorts of ideas. Okay, so one of the ideas is, instead of actually advancing, one of the ideas is to develop a piece. Now that follows like that rule, the first and second move rule, first a pawn, then a knight. Well, what we actually have here is we have a number of aggressive responses. We have c5, continuing with that plan. We also have this move, a very nice idea, a classical response. Remember your black's second move rule that you can apply it here, that you want to create balance with your knights against their knights. And so if they do advance now, you've got all sorts of pressure that you can start building up against this pawn now. The queen can go to c2 instead of